Torp here. Doozy right here. This almost ain't no joke. I didn't even know this was coming. This thing that Hot Facts Robert Reese just did with Roy. Real Talk with Roy. What happened on the lounge and all that. Well, the big controversy right now is that apparently Roy got fired from his W-2. And when that happens, that ain't no joke. I've seen it myself. I don't know if you guys seem to play back everything everybody else does, either for fun or whatever. But I'm surprised that ain't nobody brought up the fact that Torp's always talked about this. I've been talking about this since last year in this community. And I think Flex laughed it off, if y'all recall. Flex laughed it off. I don't know if Bobby did or anybody else, but Flex did. He didn't give a fuck about it. I don't know if he thought it was funny or bullshit or whatever. Yeah, when you get into cahoots with people on these channels and you think that you are Superman, that you can do no wrong because you got all the best friends and all the best platforms, think again. Doesn't work like that. Not with the trollism we have. And believe me, that trollism has been around for a very, very long time. YouTube actually started in 2005. Google bought it out in 7, I believe. Ever since then, it's been hell on earth. Because people found out all you got to do is get in good with somebody in the community, find out everything there is to know about them, earn their trust, and they got you. They got all your personal information, so you better damn well agree with them, because if they start getting pissy or you find out that they're in cahoots with the trolls or people that are actually your enemies, you're like, wait a minute, I thought you were my friend. Brother, you never had no friends. I'm sorry. That may offend some people, but I wonder how offended Roy is right now. That some people, I wouldn't say he trusted them, but I'd sure say he had some faith in them. I did the same thing, Roy. I had done the exact same thing that you've done. I've gone through the same thing that you're going through. Before my wife passed away, not this one obviously, but the one before that, before she passed away, they used her as a piñata. That's what they did. They couldn't get to me, I was too tough. I guess I should have let them beat my ass and walked away and licked my wounds. It would have never happened, but it's too late to learn from it. They can't get you, they'll go after your loved ones. You know what they did to her? She worked in a daycare. One reason I'm talking about this is because she is gone now. She is no longer with us, so this story is okay to tell. She was married to one of the most hated guys on YouTube. At least, that's what I later learned. That's what happens when you call people out. So you best be careful about calling people out unless you're willing to call them out and reap the repercussions of it. Depends on how much they know about you, how much you give them. Well, since they couldn't get to me, they found out after waiting years that she worked at a daycare. So they went to an extreme and they got her fired. I bet you'd like to know how that happened. I will not tell you how it happened. No. See? I can give you the top of the answer, but I'm not going to get into the business of the question. That one will forever stay with the FBI because that's where it ended up going in that case. It went to the FBI. They didn't even know what to do. Had never heard of such a thing. I had police at my home. I had to call them a few times with what happened and what transpired that summer over what was going on YouTube. I even have phone numbers of these people. They were so confused by it, they didn't know what to do. All they could do is file police reports. All the FBI could do was investigate to a certain point, because at that time there was no such thing as internet harassment. We didn't have that back then. There was no such thing. Not back then there wasn't. 2010 it didn't even exist. There was no such thing. People laughed at you. They didn't get it. They didn't understand. It's like, well, that's a joke. That can't be real. Or we don't even know who they really are. There's no way to trace them. That's what happened. Promise. But she got fired. And it made her sick to her stomach what they made up about her. It did. It tore her up. Limb from limb, it tore her up. What they made. It was terrible. You gotta wonder just how sick and disgusting these people are, but you better be careful when you ask that question, because if you get into their head, you may never come back from that nightmare. Trollism is a sickness, y'all. It is. It's just as bad as being an actual hater, not the hate you see on YouTube, but an actual hater. Someone that actually goes after what you believe in and tries to destroy it. And goes to no end to destroy it. That's a real hater. See, hate's lost all its value on this website, too. There ain't no doubt about that. What we call hate is when somebody disagrees with what you said or calls you a name. That's not hate. That's just being stupid and having fun. Most people realize they're talking to somebody with a thick skin. It don't go nowhere. But when you mess with people's jobs, their livelihoods, and people's actual health, that just happened to Roy. I don't stand for it. I don't condone it. I already kind of know who did it, because there's only one person in this community that's crazy enough to do it. And I recognize the name of the channel when it started hating on me, but they already know me, and they can't do much to me. They can't do nothing to my loved ones, because they don't even know who the hell my loved ones are. I kept that part off, didn't I? Yeah, I did. So, if you're going to be up on YouTube in these communities and feeling like you're all special and you're in a part of a clique, just remember this. Wait till you piss somebody off for the first time in a real way. Or just because maybe they got trolled by someone thinking you had something to do with it, so they got to retaliate. Then it's going to make you have sleepless nights, because you're going to remember they got your phone number. They got your email address. They know where you work. They know all kinds of things about your neighborhood and your friends, because you've been nice enough to talk to them on the phone, not YouTube, and give them all this information, thinking your boys will click up, will meet up, just like Flex did with Kim's Money Plans. I saw that picture. I was like, I hope Kim's Money Plans is being cool, man, because Flex's Lounge, it's like Robert Reese said, Flex might not be responsible, but he sure the fuck don't stop it. Once that ball starts rolling, Flex gets off on it. So you can't blame me. That's what Google always says, Flex. Google always says that. Just because somebody finds something nasty or illegal on Google don't mean it's our fault. You had to type in another search engine through Google to find it. We're not responsible. You're on your own. You're a grown-up. That's kind of like when the fucking court system says after you've done something, and you say, I had no idea that was a law. And they say, well, ignorance of the law is no excuse. Is that not what they say? Well, this is the same thing. How can you go up here in these forums, in these communities, especially on YouTube, in the lounge or otherwise, anywhere where you got these big cliques? I mean, we've made a lot of jokes about what these cliques are called, but I just call them beehives. You got to go fly in there. You're going to become one of them, and everything's going to be good, and lots of honey will be dripping. And you know you got a lot of people watching your back. You'll all sting a motherfucker together if you have to. But wait till that bee does something just a little off cuff. And the mother bee, the bumblebee, the queen, what does she do? She'll either kill that motherfucker herself, or she'll get some of the other bees to fuck you up. You ain't coming back into that nest, and you better hope you don't get the chance to, because they're going to fucking destroy you. That's what they do. I'm surprised y'all don't know about this. There's Roy acting like he's shocked. I just watched him in race. He's acting like he's shocked. I talked about this. I got a video up. I got to go back to the beginning. I'm going to let them know. I'll just repost the same video. It's dated. I probably privated it. It's in this community, though. I already talked about this. Actually, I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised Mr. Reese didn't bring this up. Torp used to talk about this. This kind of thing is real. I already warned everybody in the lounge. I warned them with a video. This shit ain't no joke. And Roy can say all he wants to. It is what it is. It is what it is. You know what that statement comes from? It comes from people that have given up. It is what it is. In other words, you've given up. You're going to accept it. If you know it's wrong and you want to fight for it, it ain't an is what it is. I'm going to tell you what it's about to be. Because that's happened. Roy ain't the only one. He ain't special. It happened to that chick out in Las Vegas, too, and she pissed off that customer, and DoorDash got a hold of it, and she got deactivated. Y'all remember that? That was her name. I forget now. That little brunette out there in Vegas, y'all know who I'm talking about. That was big news for a while, and she got all over Pedro, I think it was, or somebody for, y'all remember what I'm talking about. I ain't going to get into it. So, people... This is not something new, but it is something that's going to continue. My best advice to you is listen to one thing from me if you don't ever listen to nothing else. If you're going to be in these big cliques, keep your shit to a minimum. Keep it to a minimum. Y'all might think I'm a drunk and I smoke too much and all that, but even when I'm in that mode, have you ever heard me spew out personal info about me or anybody else? Hell, I watch my shit. I'm very careful because it's not just you that could get in trouble for yourself or your family. But think about this. What if you spew out personal shit about somebody else and it comes back and they sue you? I guarantee you this much, like a copyright strike, if somebody gives you one, you know who it's from. Back before we had that CMAs or VMAs or whatever the fuck they're called, somebody could strike you anonymously. Can't do that no more. You gotta be honest info, man. Put in the info when you do a copyright strike of any type. Nowadays, I believe they're even looking for driver's license. You gotta prove who you are if you're gonna make a complaint. So you're gonna get sued if you make some bullshit up and get somebody in trouble. Roy, the only advice I can give you right now is that since you know who did this, whether you say it is what it is or not, you do realize that you can sue them for doing that. I don't know if you know it's a civil suit. Did you know that? And they have to go to court whether they want to or not. You can sue anybody for anything. It doesn't matter what it is. A leaf fell in your yard, you want to sue them, you go down there, you fill out the paperwork, they have to show up to court. Now, you can be liable for a leaf, but you understand what I'm saying. You don't want to do that. What I'm getting at is, Roy, you could sue whoever did this to you. I don't know if you realize that or not. If you don't want to sue them, that's on you. I'm just telling you because I didn't hear you and Reese talking about it. If you don't want to sue them and you want to let it go, my suggestion to you would be leave the lounge, leave YouTube, leave everything behind, and move on. I did it for 10 years. It was easy. It was so easy for me to do it. I destroyed a community with the facts. I don't think Robert Reese realizes what he's doing. He's getting ready to destroy this community with the facts. See, eventually people can't stand the facts because you keep calling out who did what, and you're almost always right. That shit don't sit well. I know what you're going to say. Well, that's what you're here for. It's what you even said. Yeah, but I ain't touching on people's personal matters. Feel me? I don't touch on personal matters. I don't know if Flex has any brothers, sisters. I don't know if he's got a mom or dad, a grandma, grandpa, kids, nephews, adoptees, dog, cat, girlfriend. I don't know if he's gay, straight, or queer. I'm not going to say this to make myself special. I don't care. I don't want to know. That makes me a liability. So if I get an email from somebody, you know what the first thing I do with it is? I would shoot it straight to Flex and say, this came from something, you'll never see it on my channel. Just wanted you aware that somebody's pulling your information and handing it to a would-be hater or troll or whatever. Because if they're going to give it to me, they're going to give it to other people too because they want something to happen. Watch yourselves, people. Watch yourselves. Just again, one more time. Anybody sends me personal information about anybody else in this community, it's going straight to the person that it's about. It will never be posted on this channel or anywhere else on the internet for the rest of my life. I don't play that because I went through it. And again, one last time, Roy, you can sue if you know who. But if you want to move on, I suggest you pick up your bootstraps, get the fuck out of here. And I don't mean that in a bad way. You need to get, that's what I did. I already did it. I did it over 10 years ago. I got the fuck out of there. I let that shit die. And it does die if you let it die. But you got to get the fuck out. If you want to fight back, you got the perfect form to do it with. If you don't, get the fuck out, dude. If they would do this, there's no telling what else they will do. Think about how many things that you said in private to anybody that's from the lounge or associated with it. Anything private. I'm not talking about a phone number. Nobody gives a fuck about a phone number. How many of us are actually giving out our main phone number? How many of us have multiple phones? Emails, if it's a Gmail, who gives a shit? They can hack my Gmail account. I don't do shit with it. That's like a dummy account. My real email? You guys gotta be kidding me. Even the first interview I did on here wasn't with Reese. It was another guy a few months back, and I didn't use my real email. I gave him a Gmail. Frankie can hack it and do whatever he wants, but it's not attached to any money. It's not attached to any my address even. I think you guys feel me. Not that there's anything wrong with that guy in that interview. I haven't heard from him since then. I don't know. I guess he just wanted that moved on, so that's fine. It was a positive experience, like Reese's was. Hope you all learned something. Shit's getting real. I talked about this. How it really gets is up to you. All you gotta do is leave. Haters will follow you for about a month or so after you leave. You can delete your channel, and if they had your phone number, they're still gonna ring it. But they'll go away. You gotta leave though, Roy. If you want this to go bye-bye. Alright, that's it. That's your Saturday night. That wasn't a rant though, that was more of a heads up. Saturday night heads up. Torp out.